I'm Allie, I'm Chief Exec from Fast Forward. We did have some slight technical glitches yesterday, so if this continues, I'm going to swap to my hotspot in the hope that it will be a better connectivity. So basically, folks, you've just heard, I stand between us and coffee. So we can do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way, but we will continue with this. This is not looking hopeful as far as my sheen screen is concerned. My plan today is to give you a little overview of Fast Forward. I'll maybe skip a few slides forward while I'm waiting for my computer to kick in. To talk about our experience of and learning from online delivery. I'm going to particularly focus on one of our programs, which is the Going Forward program and the work that we did around that. Hey, opa. And then I'm going to look at the impact that COVID had on risk-taking behaviours, very briefly, with a focus on gambling and gaming, looking at the gaming-like elements in, the gambling-like elements in some games. My colleagues Tina and Donna are going to be shaking their heads at me, and they will give you much more information in the session that they're doing later on this morning. So Fast Forward, we've been around since the late 80s. We work with, by and for Scotland's young people around risk-taking behaviours. We work directly with children and young people and also provide training and resources to the adults in their lives, so their teachers, their parents, youth workers and other practitioners. Our current programmes are these. I'm not going to go into any detail because I know we're a bit short in time. But as I said, today's presentation is going to focus on the Going Forward programme. I always think of Going Forward as a fast forward in miniature because it covers every risk-taking behaviour, but works with a particular group of young people. And if we could come up with a better phrase than the more vulnerable and marginalised young people in society, I think we would all be delighted. But, you know, as far as funding applications, etc. is concerned, this is the group that we are talking about. So before the 23rd of March 2020, at which point I actually worked in another organisation, I joined Fast Forward 6 weeks into first lockdown. Fast Forward had little or no digital delivery. And as we've heard others talking about, that changed overnight. The focus, as I said, today is going to be on the Going Forward programme and with that particular group of young people. I think one of the really fantastic things that came out of that pivot was that Donald, who's in the little yellow boxes, the highlighted boxes in these pictures here, who leads the Going Forward programme, didn't lose a single young person when the work went from being face-to-face with them at colleges and employability programmes to them sitting in their bedrooms or their living rooms. And that is fundamentally down to his robust youth work practice, I would say, and his relational working, starting with where the young people were, and also, as we do with all our work, speaking to young people to find out which are the factors that are having greatest impacts on their lives and developing programs around that. Robust partnership working is also crucial to all of the work that Fast Forward does. But I think one of the factors, it's a small thing but quite significant, is there was no expectation that young people would keep their cameras on, which again, I think every youth worker in the room will recognise. Because for many reasons, young people didn't want us seeing into their houses, weren't confident for many reasons, so there was no expectation around that. Now, I'm just giving my colleagues at Youth Link a little nudge here because we're going to move to a short film shortly. So Donald, I was hoping would be here to co-facilitate with me, but he's currently luxuriating in the sunny climes of the Hillfoots in Clackmannanshire. He's on holiday for a few days. So I asked him to put his filmmaking skills to bear and for him to come and talk to you about his experience of lockdown and that move from face-to-face to digital working. Do I need to stop sharing at this point, I'm assuming?
Yeah, if you can complete.
Oh, okay, excellent.
Hi everybody, my name is Donald and I look after our Going Forward project at Fast Forward. We work in partnership with organisations, mainly across Edinburgh and the Lothians, that work with and support vulnerable and harder to reach young people. Going Forward delivers workshops that focus on a core theme of harm reduction around a wide range of risk-taking behaviour issues. When we deliver our sessions, we often cover some pretty emotive ground, meaning that we build on many of the fundamentals of effective youth work, like building trust, maintaining interest, strengthening relationships, keeping things authentic, creating genuine rapport. So when the lockdown door got slammed shut 2 years ago, I had some genuine panicky moments. If I can't be in the room to build that trust, that interest, relationships, rapport and authenticity, then I'm knackered. It's time for a new job. The ace that we had was our group of fantastic partner organisations. They were very much in the same boat as us, needing to find a way to keep engaged, keep supporting their young people. That gave us an opportunity to at least try and keep things going. Mentimeter became a real game changer for us. Rather than just talk or lecture via online PowerPoint, Mentimeter enabled us to develop 30 to 60 minute sessions that were really participative, really interactive, even when we were faced by the dreaded bank of black screens. That fun, participative, interactive element meant that we could get past the barrier of young people inviting us into their house, their space. Many of them didn't want us to see what was going on at home, and that was fine. Using their second devices, they could and did participate in the sessions really effectively. Feedback on the new sessions has been as vital as it has been excellent. The sessions and the content within them has constantly evolved based on what young people and their partner organisations tell us works, and equally what doesn't work. From an evaluation point of view, the feedback that we've had on the sessions has been truly excellent. They've been really well received. As we move out of lockdown and start to get back to normal, we're really chuffed to see that our new sessions work even more effectively face-to-face. Our gallus alphas in the room when they're doing our sessions still want to talk to us. They still want to hold court. But through Mentimeter, the quieter, the shyer ones now have a really good avenue to make useful, important contributions that make a big difference in the sessions as well. Our new sessions have also helped us to develop new materials, particularly our online own resources. These have been created by and for young people to pose questions and raise awareness of risk-taking behaviours that are based on their own lived experiences. So there we have it. I didn't need to change my job after all. By using Mentimeter to help us to develop fun, interactive sessions, we developed a bank of new resources that were really effective through lockdown and are now proving to be even more effective now that we're back in the room. None of that would have been possible without our fantastic project partners.
So hopefully, do I need to share again, guys, or does it? Yeah, okay, hold on. Bear with me. Come down here. Come on. Okay, can everybody see this? Great. So it helped to be already to be engaged with young people when lockdown happened. I think it would have been more challenging had that not been the case while we were working out the technology and working out how we did things digitally. But again, as we've mentioned, Donald had been working face-to-face with these young people. He had developed a relationship and a trust with them, which enabled a smoother transition to digital working. We're going to keep using Mentimeter. It's an effective tool for both digital and face-to-face working. As you heard Donald talking about, enabling everybody in a group to contribute. And with that increased participation, it's that virtuous circle, enabling young people's confidence to grow and want to engage more, where perhaps previously, without a tool like Menti, they wouldn't have contributed. They would have been too nervous or embarrassed or anything. All those other bits that go with it. And my pages have stuck together. Robust partnership working is key to everything that Fast Forward does. We always start with having the conversation with partners around how can we support you to develop your desired outcomes with the young people that you support, and also how can our approach enable improved decision making by the young people participating in the sessions. And that's fundamentally what Fast Forward does. We are around supporting informed decision making by young people around risk-taking behaviours towards a harm reduction approach. So Donald mentioned the Own It's in his film. Again, we're going to touch on games here, folks. This was one of our responses to lockdown. Again, working with, by and for young people to develop these resources. So we use Twinery, which has been mentioned a few times. And I think Lucy mentioned the old Choose Your Own Adventure storybooks. That's the kind of model that we have developed here with the Own It. So young people progress through a night out or whatever the theme of the Own It is, and are offered different decisions, options at different times. And the game proceeds through the night. Now, a bit like true life, you kind of go back and change your mind. Once you've made your decision, you have to see it through. So we found this to be very effective. So young people learning about the positive and negative outcomes and consequences of risk-taking behaviour, but making those decisions in a safe and supported environment. These are available on the PIP's website. Peer Inspiration Project Scotland is one of our other projects, and we have a number of Own It's available on the PIP's website. You'll see as you go through them, the ones that we started with, maybe a little bit clunkier, and then we got a little bit more sophisticated as they went along. So these games have been accessed over 2,000 times by young people, youth workers, and youth groups. And I would suggest it's a really effective group work tool where a group of young people have to agree a decision to be able to proceed through the game, or looking at detached or digital youth work. So a way to support young people to engage there. In terms of COVID and risk-taking behaviours, one of my colleagues, Christina Deenan, carried out a research review for us last year, and I'm going to pick on some of the more pertinent learning from that exercise, particularly around online behaviours. So it'll come as no surprise to anybody that internet use went through the roof in lockdown. And what we found was that in 12 to 17-year-olds in Scotland, 70% of females and 58% of males reported increased access and usage of social media. More than half of 12 to 15-year-olds surveyed said they'd had a negative experience online in 2020, and that's something that some of my colleagues have referred to in their presentations earlier this morning. In terms of online safety, more laptops and tablets were being given to young people to enable them to access online learning, but were they also supported around how to keep safe as they were doing so? The perception is that this is the role of the parents, but we're making the assumption that parents also know how to do this. And I thought it was really interesting around Karen's presentation around nudges and sludges. I think that fits very much into that kind of online safety. So yeah, there's a lot of learning around that. Now, gambling, I'm just going to cover this briefly because as I said, my colleagues Tina and Donna are going to be presenting shortly around this. But again, unsurprisingly, a significant shift from face-to-face gambling to online because all the bookies shut. So there was a significant increase in people accessing gambling online. And there was a significant gender gap emerged over lockdown, with men being 3 times more likely to gamble than women. We've talked about gaming quite a lot this morning already. 74% of Scottish 5 to 15-year-olds reported playing games online, which is slightly higher than the English and Welsh average. So not quite sure what to make of that, but an interesting fact. And what we are seeing, and Paul referred to are the gambling-like features in games, so loot boxes. So you have this virtual treasure chest, which you buy with real, actual human money. You don't know what you're getting. That makes it a gambling-like feature because there's that uncertainty and money has exchanged hands. And again, my colleagues will be touching on that later. So again, a wee heads up to my colleagues at YouthLink, this is the final film. What you're going to see here is a young boy, primary school age, maybe 7 or 8 years old at the most, who is on YouTube talking about opening loot boxes to begin with, which is pretty impressive for somebody that age. But he's also very confident and educated around loot boxes. As you're watching it, I'd like you to pay attention to his emotions. When he gets a skin that he wants, he is so excited. But when he doesn't get what he wants, you can see the unhappiness and frustration on his face. So this is concerning because the earlier somebody starts to gamble, the more likely they are to do so in adulthood. Thank you, Naomi.
Hello everyone, this is Maxwell. Today we're going to be doing an Overwatch video of loot crate opening. Let's get to it. So we have 11 loot crates to start with. Whoa, that's loud. Seriously? Do I need this all duplicates? I mean, we're going to get some legendary skins. I really don't like that. Last loot box. Yes! I've been wanting one of the Widowmaker skins. I've been wanting one of these. That is the best skin. Look at that skin though. Look at that skin. Look at that skin. Look at that skin.
Great, I won't bother going back to my presentation, folks. It's just a thank you slide with my contact details. So a bit of a whistle-stop tour there. Again, I think there's very common themes with the other keynote speakers. Not quite sure what's happening with questions. I'll get Liz or Hilary to give us an idea on that, but I would be delighted to continue the conversation with anybody around the work that we've been doing. So Allie at fastforward.org.uk. I'm assuming all that will be shared post presentations. So thank you for your attention and I look forward to the rest of the conference.